Today we are very happy to have Professor HC Verma here with us. He's an eminent physicist and educationist and started his career at the Science College, Patna University, where he taught for many years, and then spent the rest of his academic career at IIT Kanpur, from where he retired from a few years ago, and now does a lot of work with school children and school teachers in the area of physics. So thank you, Professor Verma, for being here with us.
Thank you for calling
and spending the time. Maybe I'll start with the first question, which is probably a very anticipated question. You're probably, for physics students, especially at the +2 level, most famous for your book called Concepts of Physics. It's a 2-volume book. Can you maybe say something about why you wrote that book and how it has aged over the years, and what you think of the book reflecting upon having written it so many years ago?
Yeah, so the history is that when I was studying my +2, that time it was not called +2. Here also it is PU college.
Right.
So that time it was at our place also pre-university college, PU. So that time I studied with normal books which were available and teachers were talking about that. But after that I did my BSc honors from there, and at that time my vision was broadened quite a lot. And then I moved to IIT Kanpur for my MSc, masters, 2-year masters. There I saw that book by Rethinking and Halliday, which I had heard about, because when I was in +2 my friends were appearing for JEE and they used to prepare with that book. But since I did not have to appear in JEE, so I never looked at the inside what is there in the book. But at IIT Kanpur I saw that book in the library, and then out of curiosity I just get it issued. And parallel to my master's syllabus, I also studied from Rethinking Halliday. And that was an excellent book. That was an excellent book. The way the physics was presented there, it appealed me. So when I joined as a lecturer in physics at Patna Science College, once again, I tried to take that same approach, and I asked all my students to purchase that Rethinking Halliday must. Okay. But somehow at the end of the year, I found that it did not work. I was rated as a very good teacher and everything, reputation was very good. But I did not see that spark which I had anticipated, that if I am teaching this way, it should create curiosity, it should create affection with the topic, with the subject, and so on. So next year, I thought that okay, I am new, I have to learn how to teach, teaching skills I have to develop. It went on for 4 years, and every time it failed, in my judgment. All the other people in the department and students, they were all praising, but I was not praising myself. So the analysis, when I was doing all this analysis 4 years, I came to the conclusion that at school level, the subject has to be, I should know my audience first. How do they live? What kind of interaction they have in the society? What kind of festivals, what kind of life they are leading, what kinds of sports they are playing. And if I don't connect physics with that, then it will not work. Rethinking Halliday is an extremely good book in physics, as well as this cultural connection with the US audience.
Right.
So that is how it started, and the idea came that we need a book which is as authentic and as lucid and as readable, as enjoyable as Rethinking Halliday, but then the cultural connection should be Indian. So that is how it started. Then I wrote the book. It took me something like 7 to 8 years to write that, and during that time I did tuitions also, one batch of tuition, 40 students at my place, because I had to experiment my thoughts on that. So somehow I wrote only for my own Patna Science College students whom I was teaching, and they did not have a backup book to do self-study. So that was the reason but it worked very well, and when it was published, the whole community welcomed it. Right.
Yeah, it's a sensation amongst students. We have a lot of our undergraduate students at Azim Premji University also constantly referring to that book. We may ask them to look at something else at other books, in other books, but they still say, no, HC Verma's, I'm studying from that, I'm doing problems from that. When you look at the questions and the problems there, many students use it to study for competitive exams. Was that your intention when you wrote the book, and are you unhappy with the fact that many students are using it only for competitive exams?
I am not unhappy, but at the same time, I have never thought about JEE when I was writing this book. JEE was not on my agenda, because I am not emotionally attached to JEE. I am emotionally attached to IIT Kanpur because I did masters from there, PhD from there. But I was absolutely not interested in JEE, so that was not in my mind. It was a physics book. The theory is also, I tried to explain it in very detail so that the students get the grasp of the subject. Numerical problems are only to check whether when you are reading the text, if something slipped, you overlooked and went ahead, or you did not overlook, but it did not get registered. You read that and that time you understood, but 10 seconds later that part was washed away. That happens. That is a very natural phenomena. Now, if you do a numerical problem, we are actually the target drug delivery, that okay, you have missed this particular point, that is why you are not able to do this numerical problem. So, when you work on it and again read the chapter or in whatever way, when you solve the problem, then yes, it gets registered. So, that was the kind of thing, but then when this book was published, this JEE aspirants, they were the biggest customers. Right. Because in JEE, these questions, you have to think little bit. The basic clarity is must. The basic clarity of concept is must. And then you should have some practice with numerical so that you can connect. And that happens in the book if you read it systematically. But as you said, some students are using only for numerical problems, not reading these things.
Right.
So they will be getting less benefited. That's it. That's it. So I'm not unhappy with that. It's okay, fine. They are using the book, the numerical problems, and quite often when JEE question paper is set, and some 7-8 people put their mind to create new questions. So they have to create new thoughts. I had created a thought 33 years ago, but the IIT professors who go for this question paper setting, they had not read my book. So for them that thought is still new. So quite often it so happens that they also come up with some thought which I had put there in 33 years ago, and then people say, देखो HC वर्मा का सवाल आ गया.
Right.
HC वर्मा में है ये सवाल, HC वर्मा में है, केवल नंबर चेंज किया है. I have been in that question paper setting team for some 7-8 years, 9 years, 9 times I have done this setting business. So I know the fact that one of my role in that team was that whenever someone comes up with a new idea, I will first remember whether I have used that idea and tell them that don't put this question here.
Right.
But if I am not in the question papers setting, it happens quite. So that also promoted by my book in JEE aspirants. अरे HC Verma से सवाल आ जाता है. That was the kind of thing.
So you've had a very illustrious career as a condensed matter physicist, both theory and using experimental techniques. And I also forgot to mention you're a Padma Shri awardee from 2021. And you've, at least from the point of view of many academic physicists, you've later on in your life taken a slightly unconventional route. Most physicists would like to continue doing research, maybe getting distinguished professor positions or emeritus professor positions at institutes. However, you've started this really wonderful organization called Shiksha Sopan. Can you talk about why you went in that direction? I mean, I think a little bit you've already answered through your vision of this textbook, but can you elaborate a little bit more?
So that story starts with my second inning in IIT Kanpur as a faculty member. After 15 years of teaching at Patna Science College, I moved to IIT Kanpur as assistant professor. So there I taught BTech first year students quite often. That I was the one department will always trust that I can do it. So, maximum number of times I have given that course as compared to other faculty members in the department. There I saw a big gap. The society tells that whoever is admitted in IIT and IIT Kanpur especially, or Delhi or Bombay, Chennai, Guwahati or Kharagpur, so they are very brilliant and they can think out of box and very intelligent and so on so on. But when I started teaching them, interacting with them, I found that no, this is completely wrong. It is the same kind of distribution as you can find in any other setup for students. Some 10% will be actually brilliant, very nice. They can think, they can extend what is being told. And there will be some 30% for whom it will be very difficult task to grasp and apply it when questions are to be solved in examinations, etc. And in the middle, people will go this way, that way, and so on. So that prompted me to go back to the school system. Something is wrong in the school system, something is wrong at this PU level or plus 2 level, so that even the most successful candidates who passed the JEE mains and advance, and that time it was not main and advance, but still there were two stages. They are not able to. India is not that bad. India is not that bad. So that prompted me to interact with school physics teachers. What is their problem? Why the school system is not able to produce quality? And that started much earlier than I retired. 2017 I retired, 1994 I joined IIT Kanpur, and by 2001 I had decided that I have to do this. And I talked to the director and asked his permission that I want to work with school physics teachers. Then he said, okay, most welcome, you can do, but don't ask for any relaxation in the workload. Right. You have to do everything. He has given you the mandate. So no relaxation there. If then you want to do, is fine. So then I collected some very small kits, some 7th, 8th grades type, 9th grade types, and that too from a economically weaker section. Close to, next to IIT we have some villages, so from there I picked up these students, and then I started making small experiments for every concept which is there in up to class 10, 11. And 12, there are some concepts for which this type of experiments cannot be formulated using the quantum mechanics and all those things. But 90% of the syllabus is covered, 95%. So I started making some small experiments and then going to the teachers and telling that if you are teaching this particular topic, why don't you show this 2 minutes experiment to the students in the class and then start talking. So that way it started in 2001. 2003 I did the first official workshop in Patna, some Patna club. So there are some 30 teachers were there and it was a day-long program. So from there it continued. So it was parallel. My research was there, my laboratory was there, my PhD students were there. I had to teach classes, and as I became more senior, then some kind of administrative jobs also. So all that, and parallel to this, I did this. So that grew. The teachers enrichment camp We started hosting it at IIT Kanpur, and then we used to go to different institutions who asked for it to train their teachers. So this is how it grew. And when 2017 was the retirement, my plan was that after that it will be 100% in this area. So I left that research and high level condensed matter and nuclear physics, and then I continue with this.
Yeah, really wonderful. I mean, there must be something about IIT Kanpur because Arvind Gupta is also was there as a student there, and he's also done a lot of work in hands-on kind of pedagogy. How do you think you've designed now hundreds of experiments, which I was actually looking at some of these videos at our university. We actually try to use some of these experiments as both demos and as full-on experiments where you can actually collect data, do analysis, and do pretty sophisticated work. I don't think many people think of some of these simple experiments as just childlike toys, but actually they can be quite sophisticated. How do you see some of this hands-on kind of pedagogy blending with our current state of school education, with NEP, with also the huge pressure that students are on to complete vast amounts of syllabus and content, and teachers are always pressed for time? What do you see the role of these kinds of simple hands-on experiments in today's school education, especially?
One of my colleague teacher, Rakesh Avasti from Agra, he advocates for these kind of experiments and demonstrations during class. And he claims that he saves time using these experiments because he's a sincere teacher. He won't go unless he is able to teach properly. And for properly teaching, with the students imagining in mind the actual phenomena, takes much more time. And if you just show this small experiment, the childlike experiment, then they can connect all those equations, formulae, the terminology, whatever you are telling, right? If you say that, okay, here is the normal to this surface, and students are just wondering that, okay, so there should be some plane, there should be some normal, this and that. But if you put a plane mirror there and a stick there, nothing great, and say that, look, this is called normal, and your incidental ray and it is this normal with which they are making equal angles. Finish, continue with your equation. So your equations will be more readable. They will go in the mind, they will understand what it means. So he says that I save time. So it can be done, but the problem is in our school system, hardly I would believe that 10% of teachers are capable of understanding what they are teaching.
Right.
They don't know what they are teaching. Okay, so that is a very big problem, and I don't know how to handle this at such a large scale. India is such a vast country, and it's like a national unity phenomena that the misconceptions which are here in Bangalore, same will be in Kochi, same will be in Hyderabad, same will be in Srinagar, same will be in Bhopal.
Right. The way the laws of physics are the same everywhere, this law is also the same everywhere.
The misconceptions are also the same. And our textbooks are also, they contain these kind of misconceptions, and the teachers do not, they are not tuned to critically reading the textbooks. Anyone critically, if we read the textbook and evaluate that, today I told in my teacher's session that you assume that something is wrong in this page. Where is it? You have to find.
I see. Right.
With that approach, if you read, then you come to know that, okay, something is terribly wrong, terribly wrong. Terribly wrong concepts are being taught. And they are told because they are in the textbook and the teachers are very comfortable with that. They never think about that. So this problem has to be taken up very,
Is it something that the NEP is explicitly tackling, or it's not?
It will not help. It will not. The problem with NEP is NEP is implemented almost all of a sudden. right? Before NEP implementation, the workforce who have to actually deliver, NEP will give you the management issues, that these kind of courses should be there and these kind of flexibility should be there, and this kind of it should be activity based, inquiry based. These things we had been using these words for decades. But the new thing that NEP has done is that the flexibility, the courses, you can choose the humanity course together with the science course and other things. In higher institutions, it is more applicable. At school education system, 9th, 10th, it does not make much difference. But now they are saying that for every concept you have to design an experiment, you do the activity, and from the activity, from that experiment, students will learn. Now our teachers who are teaching for 10, 20 years in the old system, even there they are not delivering.
Right.
And all of a sudden you are imposing something new, and which they are absolutely not conversant with, because in their BSc, MSc they have not gone through such exercises.
Right.
So that implementation is will be very, very difficult. So I don't have much hope from NEP, but I saw the NCERT is writing new textbooks, and some of them have come out, science class 6, 7, 8. So they have extremely good team to write. So I hope that textbooks will guide the teachers first. It may take few years so that the teachers learn from the textbook, and then they can start delivering right to the students, right.
So recently I saw that you have now taken a much more holistic view of education, and not just learning physics, but let's say learning physics ethically, or trying to connect it with our relation to nature. Can you say something about this? Because I think students who are studying, let's say, biology or environmental science, it's almost natural that they'll connect with nature. Can you say a little bit about how the study of physics helps us be ethical stewards of, let's say, the planet?
If someone studies physics in the real sense, then yes, it will develop, okay. But the problem is, as I told, we are not studying physics, we are preparing physics for some examination. These are two different aspects. Learning physics, studying physics is one aspect, and then preparing for an examination, competitive or board, is a separate story. Most of the time, neither the teachers nor the students have this vision that we have to study. They only have the vision that we have to score in the examination, and for that deeper study is often not required, and often people bypass them, and then using some shortcuts, some tricks, some this formula, that formula, cramming thousands of numerical problems, solution of numerical problems, they are able to score. So that is a very big problem, and physics is a natural ally with the nature, okay. And I often say, probably in today's talk also I will say, that you learn lot of physics before even entering the school system at the age of 5 years or 4 years. Today I asked a student, when did you learn Newton's first law first? Who taught you? Who taught you the Newton's first law for the first time? And they all said, our teachers. In which class? They all said 9th, because it is there in the 9th
syllabus, yeah.
9th textbook. Then I asked them that, okay, when you were in class 6, that time you must have arranged your school bag. Today is, tomorrow will be Tuesday, so this book and this notebook, and you must have arranged your school bag. Okay, so in the night before sleeping, you put the bag here, and next day when the school bus time is there, you will be lifting that bag and taking in there. So where will you go to pick up that bag? So this is obviously where we put it. But why? But why? Why not somewhere else? So they realized that we knew that if something is kept somewhere at rest, it will remain there. It will not move by itself. And it can move if some external force acts on it. That is the ninth class language.
Right.
But the student knows, the child knows that if it is not there, he will ask his mother, did you take it? Did you put somewhere else? So he knows that some external force has acted. So then why class 6, why class 5 student, class 3 student, class 1 student, everyone has learnt Newton's first law that an object kept at rest, not in this language, but the essence is known. Anything is kept at rest will remain at rest unless the external force act on it. There are plenty of examples where we have learned lot of physics through the nature. But once we go into the school system, at most of the places, we do not count on that. That in that pre-learning the student had taken from the nature.
I mean, experience. They've had the experience of all of these.
Right. So we do not use that experience and we import something like a very new subject and a very new set of rules and this and that, and then this whole thing becomes unnatural. Okay. So if we study physics in its character spirit, then it is a very, very natural ally of nature. We will be looking at the nature, we will start loving the nature and so on.
But why is that become such a goal of yours? From what I've seen, some of the talks that you have given and some of the interviews, you talk very passionately about this idea of ethical learning and connecting to nature.
Right. I don't know, this could be what you call inherited from the family or somewhere. That for me a useful life, a meaningful life or a successful life is how much did I contribute to this human race. My life of whatever 100 years, 110 years, 90 years, whatever it is, did it make a positive impact or a negative impact or zero impact? How much resources I have consumed and what I have contributed. So that balance will give me, my balance sheet will give me whether I am on the right side or I am on the wrong side. So that is one thing that drives me in getting all these things, giving my contribution. Whether it will make an impact or not, I do not know, but at least I am satisfied that I have done my job.
Right. I noticed that even on maybe on a website or somewhere else, I saw that you're actually soliciting stories of poetry that talks about the sun, let's say. Is that sort of part of this?
No, that was actually COVID time.
Okay.
That was COVID time, and COVID had just getting over, and we did not know whether it will be actually over or it will relapse. So that time I wanted to connect to many people through website electronically so that they still remain enthusiastic and active and don't go in depression. So that time I had posted that in Bihar we have Chhat Puja, okay, and UP also Chhat. So that is worshipping sun. The setting sun is the first part and then rising sun next is the second part. So that time I had posted that okay, anyone who has written a poetry or a bhajan or can sing a song dedicated to the sun god can post it here and then we will do something with it. So that was it.
Yeah, no, this is really lovely. You are extremely active and it's so nice to see that you're still so engaged with education and your organization Shiksha Sopan. What do you see happening over the next 10, 15, 20 years? How do you see this organization moving forward?
That I do not know, because mine is not a, I'm not part of any big organization. Shiksha Sopan is hardly some core people, 9, 10 core people. They are all from middle class or lower middle class. Now they have gone to, let's say, middle class. Previously it was lower middle class. So that's the team, that's all. I do not have much of the contacts with high ups, with industrialists. And in our team, nobody knows how to generate fund. Nobody knows it. Thanks to this concepts of physics that I get some good amount of royalty, and most of the Shiksha Sopan needs are fulfilled through that royalty. And then some people who know about it, who have seen it, who have worked there for a year or 2 years, so they know it, so they also, but in personal capacity, they send some donations. So some part comes from there and from royalty. So I do not know how to scale it up. So impact, what will happen in after 10 years? So that I do not know, that whether my work will have any impact there or not. But the models will be there. The useful models, the models that work will be there. Stress-free examination is a nice topic, stress-free examination. We had designed an experiment, an examination, it's a national examination, and it is open for class 9 to 12 students and also BSc to MSc students. And this examination, I can give some 40 minutes talk on this examination only, right? So there are several rounds. First, some 35,000 students every year register for it. Then there is this first round, which I call screening. Now these students will be given a question paper which will have some 16 to 18 questions. Each question will have a video, and the video will be as small as 1 second and as big as 1 minute, not beyond that. So and it is from some natural phenomena. A bird is sitting on the ground, and then it lifts and goes and sits on a branch of a tree. Finish. So it hardly takes 1 second. Now people get lost. Kya hua kya? So 2-3 times, right. 2-3 times they have to see to find, okay, this is the thing that we have to see. That bird is going. And then we have MCQ physics question on that. So these kind of natural phenomena, and based on that we have these MCQ questions, and then the students had to think how physics is applying there. How physics is being applying there. I am asking for the kinetic energy, for the potential energy, the total energy, whether it is decreasing, increasing, first increases, then decreases, blah, 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 MCQ question will be there. So these kind of questions. In kitchen, you are just making those puris or rotis, and it inflates and the steam is going from one corner. Right. So that video is taken, 10-second video is taken, and then the MCQ question is there on all kinds of steam and pressure and blah, blah, blah. So the students who appear there, we select 1,000 students from those 35,000 through this process. They are also happy because they have learned something new, a different perspective. So it's a learning. So people who are not selected, they are also happy. People they are selected, they are also happy. So the happiness, there is a grading of that. Now these 1,000 students will be given another task. One by one we will give 3 write-ups. Each write-up will ask them to perform a particular experiment. We will give some hints, and the experiment has to be done exclusively with the material that you have in your house, nothing to be purchased from a scientific store, and no school laboratory, college laboratory is to be used, no instrument. Whatever is there, we know in an average house what are the things available. Right. So with that only you perform so you design, first is you design, because how to do the experiment, I have given the task. But then whatever is there in particular things in that house, based on that they will design the setup.
Correct.
And once they design it with several attempts, they will have to do naturally, and then they will collect the data. They will make tables, they will plot graphs, they will do the analysis, mathematics, everything, and come out with a particular result. Now that is a fantastic experience, because since the child is doing that task in the house, parents and siblings and everyone is there,
Gets involved.
Get involved, and they are all doing things together, and we do not have any individualization. We encourage that, okay, you call as many people as you want, right? So they get so much of interest. Their parents, whenever we meet them, they say that we are all surprised that this boy, this girl, who doesn't sit for 1 hour for any kind of study, is continuously working on 3-4 hours in one go, and late night and that and that. One lady from West Bengal, she was very emotional, and said that this particular examination, this round, helped me to rediscover what my daughter is.
Wow.
Because in the school system she was not doing good, and she was not interested in studies, but here she was so capable. So they were doubting the capability of the girl, and looking at this they said, we have rediscovered this. So that kind. So the experience, once again the experience, everyone who has done this, he has become academically richer. It is not testing, it is not only testing, it is teaching. During the examination it is teaching. The task is to design a setup yourself, experimental setup yourself with the object that you have in your house. So all the mind, neurons, etc. will be very active, right. So and learning gives you joy. If you learn something and feel that yes, I did this, then so joyful learning, joyful examination, and from there again we select some how many, some 40 or so, and then we call them, these 40 we call at Sopan Ashram, Shiksha Sopan.
So you they come there
Physically with their parents, and from there I come to know all the story of that round. People praise it so much.
Right.
Now the students who are not selected are not the losers, because they have also experienced nice things. And then here we will design the setup, and we will have experiments, we will have write-up, we will explain the write-up, and once again all the norms of normal examination are shattered. We give the question paper one day before. This is the question paper, these are the experiments, you read it, and if you want to do any Google search, or you do it, or discuss with yourself. Then when the examination starts, all our evaluators are the invigilators, and they are not invigilating because there is nothing to invigilate. They are all evaluating. These experiments they perform go for 3, 4, 5 hours. They are all evaluating them, and the instruction to all these evaluators is that every child who has come here must complete all the 3 experiments successfully. No one should go without completing the experiment successfully. So they will help at every stage. At every stage, wherever the student is doing something wrong, these people will go there. If the student doesn't know how to measure this with this particular instrument, they will make them sit and spend 5 minutes and then teach how to use this instrument. Now go and do this. Evaluation, they have all points that this student did not know this, and even after telling that he did not understand, or he picked up very fast, and so on, so on. Evaluation can be done. So that is how. Now some students pass. This is another selection. In fact, we take some 10 students for the second similar round. So the students who are left out, for them we have lots of fantastic physics programs. We call teachers from IIT Kanpur, we are our own resources. right? Because we don't know who will be selected for the final and who will not be. So we ask them to take your tickets naturally. You may be selected for the final, so accordingly. And if on the first day, if you are not, you did not pass this examination, did not go to the final, ticket is, railway ticket is for the third day.
Yeah, they can still stay and
Not only say, we will design very interesting tour of IIT Kanpur, tour of some factory, and at our place lots of fantastic liquid nitrogen and how it works, blah blah, nice lectures. So many students said, "अच्छा हुआ हम पास नहीं हुए."
because they could do all these fun things. Yeah.
Okay, it's absolute stress-free examination, and then finally we will declare national first, second, third, and some scholarships, some prizes we will. So the model is there, but how this model can be scaled up if some visionary politician, some visionary social activist, some visionary academician who has resources, so those things will be here. Our books, I am writing a book named कहानियों से भौतिकी. So we have selected 27 stories from epics, Mahabharata, Ramayana, and Panchtantra, like that, Buddha, Jatak Katha, 27 stories. The stories will be there written. You don't want to read physics? Okay, you read the stories. But then on that platform, some numerical problems will be formulated after each story, and then we will solve it. And during solving, we will teach. Any equation formula that we are using for solving will be explained in, so we are teaching also. So it's a kind of textbook. So we are working on that.
Right.
So various programs we are doing, but at a much smaller scale. Okay, and but if these things are there, if these things exist, and people know about it through websites and internet media and this and that, maybe sometimes after 10-15 years, as you say, it may be useful.
No, even now, I'm sure if teachers who come across it,
Yeah.
you're very open to teachers who come across it using it
Yes,
in their own context, right? Yeah. Do you want to say anything else? I mean, this has been a lovely conversation.
Yeah.
Message for anyone or
Message is very simple. The life must be useful. Okay. The meaning of success is that whether your life was useful or not how much a package you earn or how many houses you built in different cities or how many security guards are. So that has only a local glory. 10 years down the line, people will not remember because you have not impacted their lives. So the life should be useful, and for that you have to first you have to be emotionally attached to the society. When I say society, it also includes our atmosphere and our soil and everything, our surrounding, emotionally attached to it. If you are emotionally attached to it, you will not do anything unethical. You will not do anything unethical, and then you have to build up competency that you do things which help the society. So these kind of competencies are to be acquired, and life has to be made useful.
That's a very, very powerful message. So with this, I would like to thank Professor HC Verma for spending all this time talking to us. A real inspiration. He's talked about his life's work and so many different pedagogies that can be used to make physics, not just physics, essentially living exciting. And I really hope those who are listening to this will take some of this work forward. As you saw, he said that there's a model, it's already there. So nationwide, worldwide, hopefully people are seeing this and will get to use it in their own context in a very useful way. Thank you so much, Professor. Yeah, thank you.